Hello, and welcome to another vlog. The holidays are right around the corner, so it's time to get in the festive spirit. As you know, every year I like to do a holiday-themed vlog where I share some advice for people with disabilities. And this year I thought it would be a good idea to talk a little bit about how we can make the holidays more accessible and inclusive for everyone. This time of year is a time for fun and fellowship, and what better way to celebrate the holidays and have fun with friends? But sometimes it can be difficult to find activities that everyone can participate in, especially for people with disabilities. So today I wanted to share some ideas for accessible and inclusive holiday activities that everyone can participate in, and also share some tips for how you can make the holidays more accessible. So let's jump right into it. There are 6 items on my list. The number 1 item on my list is dining. There's a lot of food around this time of year, both sweet and savory, and people love to eat. And speaking from experience, people with disabilities are no different. I'd be lying if I said that I didn't enjoy eating during the holidays this time of year. We really like food, like most people, and we do a lot of baking and we eat out a lot, and it's just a great way to spend some time together. And really the only thing you need to think about when it comes to dining during the holidays is just to make sure you consider everyone's dietary needs. Anyway, the second item on our list is shopping. Again, there are a lot of sales this time of year and people love to shop. So this is an opportunity for you to buy something nice for yourself, for others, and maybe finish your Christmas shopping if you still have some people to buy for. And the great thing about shopping is nowadays you can shop online and have the items delivered right to your door. I myself do some shopping on Amazon Prime, and that's really good for people with disabilities who may not be able to leave their homes very easily. Item number 3 is gaming. I'm specifically talking about card games and board games and video games and the like. Now, card games and board games are very inclusive because for the most part, you don't need any strength or dexterity to participate in those activities. And if you do need help, it's easy to provide people with assistance. While playing those games, you can hold their cards or move their game pieces for them, which could be very useful. Now, video games, some people may have some trouble with that if they don't have the right controllers, but for the most part, it's still a great way to spend the holidays. Now, me personally, my favorite game to play during the holidays is Cards Against Humanity, and if you've ever played that game, you may know why I enjoy that. Item number 4 on our list is live entertainment. So I'm talking about things like concerts, movies, and parades. Now, my family tends to take in a lot of entertainment this time of year. We watch a lot of films at home and at the theater, and we already have our tickets to the new Star Wars films, so we're quite excited about that. But there's also a lot of other entertainment during the holidays, and a lot of holiday-themed entertainment, like concerts and parades, and as well, there are a lot of festivals and events, so you can even attend some of those and take in some entertainment there. And again, it doesn't really require a lot of effort to go and watch a film or a parade, and people with all kinds of disabilities can participate in those activities, even people who are deaf and blind, as long as they have the right accommodations. Item number 5 on our list is adaptive recreation. So when I talk about recreational activities, I'm talking about things like art, cooking, hiking, tours, scavenger hunts, things like that. Now, obviously not all those are considered holiday or even winter activities, but you can always tailor them to the holidays and partake in some of those activities indoors, which is good for people with disabilities who may not be able to go outside due to the weather or other reasons. And when it comes to adaptive recreation, I've talked about it in previous videos before, and most recreational activities can be adaptive for people with disabilities. My philosophy is if you can't find a way to adapt it for someone with a disability, then you're not trying hard enough. So recreation is a good option. And there's a lot of options there. It's a very broad category of activities, but it's just some ideas that, for things that you can do during the holidays. And then the last item on our list is sports. Now, sports might not be something that you think about as a holiday activity, but there are a lot of winter sports, such as sledge hockey. But sports like bocce, bowling, sledge hockey, wheelchair basketball, things like that are all good sports that people with disabilities and able people can participate in. And again, I've talked about sports in adaptive sports in previous vlogs and all the ways that they can be adapted for people with disabilities. Most sports have an adaptive version for people with disabilities, and like I said about recreation, if you haven't found a way to adapt it for someone with a disability, then you're probably not trying hard enough. Because where there's a will, there is a way. Now, myself, I participated in wheelchair curling several years ago, and I really enjoyed that. And you can also do wheelchair ice skating, where someone in a wheelchair drives their wheelchair right down onto the ice rink and drives around on the ice, and you can even do tricks. And so that's a good way for people in wheelchairs to kind of participate in ice skating, right? So oftentimes it's really easy to adapt the sport so that someone with a disability can play them. When it comes to curling, you just kind of push the rock with the stick, right? And then sledge hockey, you sit in a sledge and push yourself around with the sticks and hit the puck, right? You can get creative to find ways to adapt these activities for people with disabilities. So that's just a brief overview of some of the activities that you can participate in during the holidays that are inclusive. But how can you make these activities and the holidays themselves accessible? Well, the first piece of advice I have is to plan ahead. It's important to know, and I can't stress this enough, I know I say it a lot, but it's important to know exactly what activities you're going to be partaking in and how you're going to participate in those activities. This is the part where you have to figure out the who, what, where, when, why, and how. You should also probably make a list of all the challenges you might face and how to overcome them, just so that you can ensure that everyone has a good time. The next piece of advice is to pick an accessible location. This is especially important if you're booking a holiday party. If your home isn't accessible, then you may want to book a venue that is, like a community center or a fire hall. And I can't stress enough that an accessible location has more than just a ramp. It should also have accessible washroom and a lot of space to get around. And it shouldn't just have amenities for people with physical disabilities, but for all disabilities. So this could include things like proper acoustics for people who are deaf or hard of hearing, proper lighting for people who are blind and low vision, maybe a sensory area for people with intellectual disabilities. Really, the sky's the limit. There's so many things that you should consider when it comes to accessibility, and you really need to think outside the box and make sure that everyone has what they need. The next piece of advice that I have is really planning out your communication. Now, there's a number of ways that you can do this. First of all, you should take into account people who communicate differently. So, you may want to consider using sign language or written text to communicate with people who are deaf or hard of hearing. It might also be a good idea to have braille or large print materials for people who are blind or low vision. You can get braille cards just so that they can participate in some of the games and activities that you play. And another good thing to do might be to have plain language instructions for people who need them, so that it's easy to teach everyone and tell everyone how to play those games and participate in those activities. This isn't just good for people with disabilities, it's also good for children. Obviously not everyone needs plain language, but it's good to have just in case. So those are some ways that you can make communication a little bit more accessible. And then the last thing you can do, some of the other things you can do activities that have partners. There's a lot of games that are games for pairs. So for example, you could pair a person with a disability with a person who does not have a disability, and they could work together and help each other. The advantage to this is people with disabilities have lived experience and face challenges that able people usually don't, which not only gives us a unique perspective of the world around us, it also makes us good problem solvers, and those are really useful skills for a lot of activities. And the last thing is you can always provide people with assistance if they need it. Now, I want to stress that if you do help someone, you should only do so if they ask, and you should respect their needs and help them the way they're comfortable, because when it comes to helping them, they probably know what works best for them. right? But if they need assistance, you could always help them hold their cards or move their game pieces or help them in any other way that they need. Right? So just be there to lend a helping hand if necessary, but make sure you respect the individual's needs. Anyway, so that's just a brief overview of how you can make the holidays more accessible and inclusive for everyone. I really hope that you'll take these things into consideration this holiday season. And also check out some of my previous vlogs where I talk a little bit more about adaptive recreation and adaptive sports, and also some of my past holiday vlogs. There's some really good information in them, and I'll include those videos in the iCard above. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, if you want to see more videos like this one, please support me on Patreon. Anyway, thanks for watching and happy holidays.